So today we're going to be talking about one of many topics related to conversion rate optimization. And with this one, we're just going to start at the bare bones, basics, which is understanding the sales cycle and where people are in it. Now, if I'm coming out of left field for anybody, you should go watch the interview that I did on Matt's channel a couple weeks ago. It digs into who I am, why I'm here, and a little bit about the tactics that I use for the affiliate SEO sites that I have. Now, if you don't want to do that, here's the basics. I'm an SEO out of Orlando, Florida, and I started doing this in 2013, and I literally knew nothing. I didn't even know what the letters SEO even stood for, just to give you an idea. And somehow with that wonderful knowledge, I was able to land a job at an agency. I started with content writing for them and eventually worked my way up to head SEO at that agency. Now, I sold my first affiliate website while I was working there for $35,000, and I used that money to quit my job, and now I do full-time affiliate SEO, and this is me doing SEO in a hammock in my backyard in Orlando. So let's keep cruising. So what are we going to cover in this video? Like I said, it's just going to be the intro to conversion rate optimization, and the basics of that is knowing where people are in the sales cycle so that you can ultimately give them what they're looking for when they get to your website. Now, I'm going to also talk about what type of content works best for each stage, and you're going to get a little behind-the-scenes look of how personally I find supporting content ideas that matter. So these are supporting content ideas that actually work with your website to help push people further through the buying cycle. So why should you care about this? If you run an affiliate website that's getting traffic, that's great. But if you don't understand user intent and why people are there, you're likely missing out on a lot of great sales opportunities. Now, with this information, you're going to be able to learn how to monetize your research visitors. If not right away, then be able to lead them down to buy from you further along the line. And if you're a website flipper, small improvements pay big. If you make an adjustment to your site that even gets you $10 more a day, that's at least $300 more a month, and at valuation when you go to sell your site, it's at least $9,000 more, so this stuff really adds up. So the first thing you have to know about the sales cycle is who's ready to buy. So you need to match that user intent with the content that you're given. Now, everybody has seen those funnels where it shows where people are in the sales cycle, and I like to break it down into 3 core sections. The first is people who are at the top level. Now, these are people that are aware that they have a problem, but they're not necessarily sold on the idea of needing a solution to that. So these are people who are going to be using words like why when they're searching for something, and these people are not likely to buy. The best way to target these people is with just basic blog content, answer their question. So moving on, you get people in the mid-level. So these are the people that are potentially interested in solving a problem, and they may or may not be open to the idea of buying a product in order to solve that problem. These are the type of people who are going to be using words like how, so people who are Googling how-to type of terms. These are going to be potential buyers, and you're going to target them in a similar way with people in the top level with blog content, but instead you're going to have some sort of upsell in there. So using how-tos as an example, you have a how-to article, and at the end, maybe you say something about why DIY isn't the best, and go ahead and check out this list of products instead. So the lowest level in the sales cycle is going to be the bottom level, and these are your users that are ready to take action. These people are going to be using words like review or buy or where to buy, stuff like that. So if you come across keywords like this and you're writing content for it, make sure you hit them with the option to buy above the fold. And make sure that you're targeting these people with buyer's guides and review type posts. Pretty straightforward stuff. So this is a visualization of everything I just talked about. People who are high up in the sales cycle are going to be using words like why, so using acne as an example niche. Why do I have acne? This person is aware that they have a problem, but they're not necessarily interested in even solving it. They just want to know why they have acne. Moving a little bit further down, you have somebody who could be Googling, how do I get rid of acne? So this person is aware that they have a problem and they have an interest in solving it. Now these next 2 sections, I'm going to lump together people who are either looking for a solution or know the solution that they want. So people who are ready to make a decision but don't quite know what product they want to buy, that's going to be your buyer's guides type of people who are looking for stuff like best acne treatments. Even further along is going to be people looking for reviews of a specific product or where to buy a specific product. So depending on the type of user that you have, across the board, make sure that you're giving them what they want. If they're ready to buy, Make sure that you give them the option to buy right away. Don't leave with a bunch of research-based content for somebody who is looking for where to buy XYZ acne treatment. And make sure that your affiliate link is easy to find as well. They shouldn't have to search through your content in order to know where to buy something. A good rule of thumb here is to avoid walls of text. Now that's basically across the board, but specifically with people who are ready to buy. They don't want to see, or they don't want to read 1,000 words about a product, they just want to know where to buy it. Now, on the other hand, if they're not ready to buy, don't force them to click your affiliate link. So if they're searching for a how-to or a why, don't hit them with a bunch of products right off the bat. You're going to lose trust and they're going to bounce to somebody else who answers their question. Now, piggybacking off of that, make sure you're actually answering the question in your content. If they're using a why keyword, don't tell them how to do something. And make sure no matter where they are, you're leading them further down into the sales cycle. So if they're Googling, why do I have acne? The end of that article can talk about or link to the how to get rid of acne page, which then links to, more stuff further along the cycle. So now that we know where everybody's at, let's talk a little bit about finding those purposeful right topics that I was talking about. Personally, I use two methods. The first of which is a basic competitor scan. And what's important about this is to make sure that you find the right competitor. You don't want to go after a huge authority site that talks about way more than you intend to talk about, because then you're just going to have to sift through a lot more. And the basics of this tactic is you're following the internal links of a website in a similar way to how Google does. And what this is going to do is help you find not only supporting content ideas, but also good ideas for resources and tools. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how I would do that. So this is a tool I use called Screaming Frog that has a great free version. It's also paid if you want. So using Facing Acne, it's a site all about acne. And it's big enough to have enough content to source from, but it doesn't talk about anything other than acne. So it is a good potential to use. So while this is scanning, look over here. So this is basically, it's following every link on the site, whether that is to images, JavaScript, or anything else. So if you isolate only HTML, it's only going to show you physical pages, which is what you're interested in. So you can click any page here, and it's going to show you information about it. So using Proactive Solution as an example. They're targeting the keyword proactive reviews, clearly based on their title tag. So what we're going to do here is we're going to see all of the supporting topics that they have that are pointing to this page. So after you've clicked on this here, go down here to In Links. And what this is going to show is all of the pages on the website that are linking to this proactive review page. So as you're scanning through this, you can just find topic ideas like home remedies for acne. That's somebody in the mid part of the sales cycle, types of acne, what causes acne. So you can get a lot of ideas just by kind of cruising through here. And speaking about resources too, you can tell by looking at this that they have a quiz, so potentially you would want to add a quiz onto your site. So what I would do is just literally scan through this, find keywords, write it down, and make sure that you are able to compete for those keywords. So method number 2, it's using Ahrefs. There's 2 ways that you can go about doing this. One is using the questions section, and the next is using Content Explorer. So let's go ahead and show you how I would do that. So using the Keyword Explorer, you're just going to type in a base term here. So you're looking for something really, really broad. You're not going to be able to compete for this, but this is just something broad to give us ideas to work off of. So if you go over here into the questions, it's going to show you all the questions that have search volume based around the topic of acne. So I'm going to add a filter here that's looking for keyword difficulty between 5 and 30. And the reason why I use 5 is because Ahrefs, KD, algorithm, whatever you want to call it, is based heavily on links that are pointing to a specific page. Now what tends to happen with KD 0 is you find keywords that a bunch of authority sites are ranking for, and they're ranking not because they have a bunch of links pointing to that page, but because they're authority sites. So a lot of times KD 0 is actually very difficult to rank for. So we'll go ahead and throw that a filter. And then go ahead and throw a volume filter on here as well. Now you can change this based on the niche, it's just a good place to get started. And this is going to give you a quick filtered list of ideas. So what is fungal acne? What causes fungal acne? Stuff like that. So this is a punch list of ideas that you can sift through just to see what people are actually searching for, and the supporting content ideas actually have search volume so you can get traffic and therefore have the opportunity to lead people further down the sales cycle. Now the last method I'm going to show you is if you're having trouble finding topics the other way. There's a lot of topics this way. Again, we're just going to be typing in a very base keyword, and we're going to be adding a filter. So what this tool does is it shows you all of the recent content that's about any specific topic. So in this case, we're English, so we're going to add an English filter. And we want to find pages that are actually getting organic traffic. So as you can see down here, some of these pages, they exist, but they're not getting any traffic, so we don't really care about that. So this is going to show us English sites that are getting at least 500 visitors a month. And I'm also going to throw a domain rating filter on here because I don't want to see sites that are super authoritative. I want to see sites that are reasonable. So if you scan through this, you're going to see a lot of home pages, but if you just kind of sift through this list, you can find different ideas for supporting content. So face mapping for acne. I don't know what that is, but it's getting 712 visitors a month, more home pages. Why biotin is breaking you out. That's a good high up in the sales cycle type of thing. And you can kind of see where you're going with this. So if you just go through this, like teenage skincare, pore clogging ingredients, these are great topic ideas that actually have volume so that you're creating content for your website. You have your buyer's guides on one hand, but you also have all this great supporting content that's one, getting traffic, and two, is actually valuable to people, and you can use that in order to lead people further along to eventually buy something. So I'm gonna be on Matt Diggity's channel every so often doing videos just like this, but if you wanna find me elsewhere, my website is serpdecoder.com. I do a little bit of consulting on there, and then I'm also on Twitter, so you can follow me there, Julie Adams SEO. Thanks.